come up with. So type it into your chat box. I like James and his challenge. So James, did you want to talk about your challenge? So what kind of challenges did you have? James said he's trying to get in touch with a team member that's just not responding. Does anybody else feel that way? Have that sometimes?
Most definitely.
Yeah. So Don says time zones, globally distributed. Let's see. Projects overrides the concept of day and night. Oh yeah. Okay. So we're going to talk about some of these ways to deal with some of these challenges especially when you are having multiple projects, multiple priorities, changing priorities. Okay. And so if there's any other kinds of things that you say, gee, I'd love to have an answer or at least an idea of what to do with this, just make sure you put it in the chat box so we can make sure we can address that. All right. So chapter news. Any new members here today?
Well, my name's Joe Ortiz. I'm not officially a member, but I'm in the process of working through the requirements for getting certified in PMP. And so I saw the invite and it was open. And so I invited myself. So.
All right. Welcome, Joe. Joe Ortiz, right?
Yes.
All right. Did you want to show your picture? Can you show your pretty face?
Yeah, I can go live.
Okay, I could go live. There you are. Okay, excellent. Welcome.
How do you do?
All right.
This is Bob Mallman here. I'm not a new member, but I just moved to Tennessee a few weeks ago. I was in Central Ohio, part of the Central Ohio PMI. So this is my first meeting with the group.
Excellent. Welcome. Welcome to Tennessee. What brought you to Tennessee?
Well, we just decided we can live anywhere now and decided it was a beautiful area.
There you go.
We decided to move down here. Sold the horse farm. We got out of horses a few years ago.
Okay. There's a lot of Ohio people that have come down south. Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome. Who else do we have here? New members or visitors?
My name is Josh. I am currently getting my master's at King University. This will be my first meeting. I'm not a chapter member yet. I do hope to be once I graduate with my degree, but for the moment, my professor invited me, so I just wanted to see what everything was all about.
All right. Awesome. Who's your professor?
I'd have to check. I apologize.
Okay. Okay. Well, welcome. Looks like you like biking. You got a big bike there behind you.
Actually, just got it yesterday. I just got off work, had it tuned up, and getting ready to go out. Unfortunately, it started raining, so.
Okay.
Oh, well.
All right. Well, good luck with that. All right. Who else is a new member or visitor?
Yeah, I'm not new, but kind of sparked some interest. Maybe our next meeting can be outdoors. Haha.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Here's a thought. Here's food for thought. I want to do something for December. We want to do a virtual something, a virtual bash, a virtual happy hour, something. So if you got any ideas, you can send them, you can put them in the chat box or something like that, because we need to do something seriously virtual, but fun. Okay. Well, the key is fun. So we're going to see how creative we can be for our holiday party in December. Maybe it's going to be outside. I don't know. All right. Any other new members or visitors? All good? All right. Has anyone recently attained a PMI credential? We've got a listing of them here. CAPM, PMP, PGMP, portfolio, PBA, ACP, RMP, scheduling. Anybody? Nope, not yet. All right. All right, ETPMI board members, announcements. Please provide your name, position, and your announcements. So Paul, you want to go?
Sure. I'm Paul Larson. I'm the VP of membership. Don't really have any announcements, but if you have any questions or issues with PMI or ETPMI or anything, you can feel free to send them to me, and I can help get some answers if I don't know them. I know some people in PMI that do. So it's membership at etpmi.org. It's on the website. If you go there, all the board members' emails are there. Feel free to reach out and ask questions. I'll try to get back to you with an answer if I can. But welcome to the meeting. Glad those that are new have joined us. Hopefully you'll come back.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we normally have some in-person meetings so that you can meet other new members, but we're not doing this right now, I guess, right, Paul? All right.
Hey, I have a quick question. I came in a little bit late and I just sent a message, and I apologize, Crystal. I sent it to you privately and I meant to send it to the group. But I was wondering for the event that was canceled tonight, the one that was at the pizza
Yes.
place, are we getting a refund? Is that how he's doing that?
Yes, you'll get a
Okay.
refund for that. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Also, was there I was very much interested in the meeting because I really like the format that you were going to have, where our badges were color coordinated.
Mm-hmm.
So will you talk about something like that towards the tail end of the meeting?
Yeah, that's a great idea. We actually have not been doing that with our virtual meetings, but we certainly need to do that for our meetings. And what she's talking about here is if you are looking for work, okay, or you have work, you're looking to hire a project manager, we want to be able to kind of do some connecting here. Okay, so you can be able to, matchmaking here as far as that's concerned. So if you're looking for work, make sure you put that into the chat box. Say, kind of looking for something. You can put your LinkedIn profile in. If you are looking to hire somebody, also put that into the chat box to make sure that you let people know how to contact you. Does that help you, Kathleen?
Yes, it does. I recently moved here from the Nashville area in March, and we used to do a round robin similar to what you're talking about. And I found it helpful for people who were looking and then other people who had opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm on the side where I'm looking.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
I go into Knoxville and oh boy.
So Kathleen, if you've got your LinkedIn profile, you put your link into the chat box here. Okay.
Thank you.
And we'll make sure that gets out there.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So other board members, I think Alan Bradley.
Yes, let me unmute. Yeah, welcome everybody. I'm Alan Bradley. I'm the Vice President of Marketing. I guess one quick announcement. As a testament to Paul Larson's excellent delegation skills, I will be hosting a professional organization showcase out at ORNL Wednesday, September 24th from 1 to 3 p.m. They're doing a virtual professional organization showcase. So it's essentially like a mini conference with people set up with tables or booths, and people can go around and virtually visit the organization of their choice. I believe there's an opportunity for multiple people to participate in that representing our organization. I haven't quite cracked the technology yet. They're using something called IC, which I'm not familiar with, but I will be by the 24th.
Okay.
But if anybody would like to join me to represent the PMI East Tennessee chapter, to be able to discuss and share with others who have interest in our chapter, by all means, let me know. I can be reached marketing@etpmi.org, and be happy to have somebody else there to interact with folks that are interested in learning more about our PMI chapter.
All right.
That's all I have.
And you said this is for what, on September 24th? What time?
It's Oak Ridge National Laboratories is hosting it. It's called Professional Organization Showcase, and it's Wednesday, September 24th from 1 to 3 p.m.
1 to 3. Okay. Great. All right. And Bob?
Hi, thanks, Dale. Bob Milazzo, Vice President of Professional Development, working with Dale and others on programs and the Professional Development Day. We were planning on doing that actually tomorrow, and we postponed it till April 9th now. So we re-established that we'll move everything and just pick it up, and are moving it to April 9th. So everything that was in place for the 18th will now be on April 9th, place, location, and everything. And we'll get more out on that first of the year when we start getting closer to that date. But I do work for a small business called Spectratech, and we are hiring, looking for project managers. So if you do have an interest in that and want to talk, you can get my email off of ETPMI, and then you can contact me that way under professional development. So just put that out there too. And thanks, Dale.
All right. Bob, can you put your contact information in the chat box too, because Francis and Joe here are looking.
You betcha.
And Kathleen. Perfect. There you go. Matchmaking. All right. So Tony, you want to announce who you are?
Sure.
Can you put your picture up too?
I'm Tony Stemkowski. I'm the VP of Governance and Policy. I apologize for not having my camera on, but my docking station doesn't let me open up my laptop, so the camera only shows around my waist. And I just cut the grass and I'm filthy anyway.
Okay.
I guess I do have one announcement. We are getting around for elections for a number of positions. We usually put it out, and it's usually like an electronic notification by email that you then can go in and select the different candidates for the positions. We usually send that out in October. We haven't got that together just yet, but hopefully we'll get it out within the next month or so.
All right, excellent. Excellent. So do they have to be a member of the chapter in order to vote?
Yes, they do.
All right. So some of you that are new or you're visitors, if you want to get involved, okay, you have to be a member first before you can be able to either run for one of the positions. What positions are available?
I'm sorry, I don't have that list in front of me right now.
I think is it marketing? It's there's some, I thought there was 3 of them that were open.
Dale?
Yes, Rudy.
This is Rudy Escher. I'm the VP of Volunteers, and we have, I think, half the positions are open, right, Tony?
Yes, that's right. We do half of them every year.
So that would be 5, is that correct?
I think it is. Yeah, it's either 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's 5 voting positions on the board that vote on the spending and where the dollars go and other various things. But volunteers is open. The finance VP is open. And there's 3 others, but like Tony said, we've had some difficulty with the nominating committee this year. due to medical situations. So we'll get that information out in the next couple of weeks.
Mhm.
And we'll be advertising it on the etpmi.org webpage as well. But I posted my email up there if anybody's interested in becoming a voting member, which requires you to join the ETPMI chapter. Just email me at the ETPMI email, and we'll get you into the list for consideration. And Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, but any member can nominate another member for an
Yeah,
office.
that's correct, Rudy.
So we'll send all that information out here very shortly.
All right, awesome. All right, did I get everybody? Anybody else?
I just joined. This is John Jordan.
Hi, John.
Hey.
And
All
Dale
right.
is Tom Weiler, Director of Membership. So I'm the one that's delinquent in setting up the new members meeting.
Okay. All right, any announcements?
Be looking for an announcement for a new members meeting.
Okay. Okay, great. All right. We're getting there. We're getting our, all right. Any other board members that joined in? Did we get everybody? Rudy, did you have any other volunteer positions that you wanted to talk about besides the board members?
None specifically at this time, but they're all posted on the ETPMI homepage and on the VRMS system for PMI.
Okay. And I think there's quite a few that are listed there. So if you want to get involved.
Yeah, we always have opportunities for folks. We have really good participation from the organization. So
right.
We were going to need people for tomorrow's event, but that is now going to be held, I believe, in April.
In April, yep.
So be looking for postings on that. They should automatically be posted in the end of October for volunteer positions for that one.
Okay, great. Thank you, Rudy. All right. Our monthly chapter meetings are the third Thursday of the month. So if you want to continue to participate virtual or in person, just put it on your calendar, third Thursday, to be able to participate. So our next meeting we're going to have is October 15th. If you've heard anything about disciplined agile, you don't know what it is. You don't know what this way of working thing is. I have an awesome speaker, Beth Oluet, who's going to explain what is this disciplined agile thing that PMI has bought. Okay, and they actually purchased not only the founder, the writer of the way of working, but also there's also certifications having to do with disciplined agile. So I'm sure she'll provide plenty of information if this is what you're looking to do. She's actually in, I believe, North Carolina, so she'll be joining us on the Zoom meeting to explain it. I'm still waiting for Dr. Jerry Wood to provide me with the topic that he's going to be talking about. And he's with the Lindsey Wilson College, which now has a project management specialization. And I'm sure he'll be talking about why they're decided to have a specialization in the Lindsey Wilson College. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to have a virtual holiday party. I really wanted it to be in person. I surveyed our board members and everybody was like, yeah, not quite just yet. Okay, so we're going to hold off. Okay, I guarantee you the first time we have an in-person meeting, it's going to be a big deal. We're going to pull out all the stops, okay? Because this is, I think we need it at this point. So, all right. I'm also a PMP exam prep instructor, so I've been asked, because I work with the Roane State Community College in teaching PMP, I've been asked to teach another PMP class before the exam changes at the end of this year. So we are doing 4 Saturdays, October 23rd, 30th, November 6th, and the 13th. Okay, so it's from 8 to 5 p.m. and there's a little bit of homework each night so that we can be able to have the 35 hours for the exam. It is a super deal. It is $7.95. You cannot find this any cheaper anywhere else. This is for ETPMI members. Okay, so you have to put the discount code in there in order to get the price of $7.95. Okay. So you can go to my website, daylebeyer.com, and then you can be able to sign up. Like I said, this is the last opportunity. The exam is going to change the end of December to a brand new format. You don't want to wait, okay? Because it is going to be completely, totally different. Although it will still be based on the PMBOK 6. It's just a totally different format. We also have set up a virtual PMP exam study group on Slack. Okay, so Floyd's students, Floyd here teaches at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. And when we set up at his request, a virtual exam study group, and one of the participants in the group there, she passed the PMP exam. Okay, and there's also listed on the Slack site is also lessons learned from people who have just taken the PMP within the last few weeks. And they've got a listing of here's all the things that you need to know. Okay, so it's an awesome opportunity for you to be able, if you're preparing for the exam, to be able to see what everybody else is saying about it. All right. So I'm going to introduce myself, okay? Dayle Beyer. Two hats I wear. One of them is PMP training, also business analysis, because I'm certified through the International Institute of Business Analysis, and I also do leadership training and coaching. And that's all on the website. I'm also an executive director of a nonprofit organization called RoneNet. RoneNet is all about getting affordable, reliable, robust, high-speed internet access, equitable availability of digital devices, as well as digital training. Okay, so you can go to ronenet.org to find out more information about that. All right. So one of the things that we wanted to consider here, and this was actually, this course I taught for a government organization, Social Security Administration, who said, we've been asked to, we're challenged with multiple projects and priorities. Let me just pull up my slides here. And what can we do about that? So I wanted to be able to share some of those tips and tricks that an organization like the Social Security Administration is utilizing. And it's an interesting perspective on how to be able to manage multiple projects and priorities, because it's not just about, the project management, PMBOK, project management body of knowledge guide. A lot of managing multiple projects and priorities has to do with time management. So have you ever heard of the paradox of time? Okay. The paradox of time is there's no question of our society. Let's see, I just got to make sure I got the right information up here. The paradox of time is about things are getting bigger, but they're getting smaller. Things are getting more challenging, but they're also getting less challenging. So if you Google the paradox of time, you can be able to say there's all these different aspects of time, and it seems like we're chasing after time. Okay, but really, can we control it? Well, we've got 168 hours in our week. Each one of us, with no question about that, in the world have 168 hours in your week. Do you know where the 168 hours are coming from? I'll send at the end of this session, I'll send you, I'll put in the chat box an time audit worksheet, so that you can be able to take a look at it and say, sometimes people are not sure. Say, I know I work, I know I sleep, I know I eat, I know maybe I commute, maybe I don't commute anymore. Okay, so when I did this class, somebody told me I was commuting 2 hours each way to work. She says, I save 4 hours a day. She said, just because of that, I'm not going to go back to work, not the way I used to, because I started to calculate how many hours I'm sitting in a car commuting. Okay, and she said, I want to do other things other than just commute in my world. So time assessment is important. It always starts first with us. So the mindset is, I can't change other people. I can't make other people do things. The only person I can control is myself. And I first have to be accountable for my time, my priorities, my projects, before I start pointing my finger at other people. That's a very key component to this. So accountability always starts with you. And there is a concept here called the question behind the question, QBQ. Okay, this is a book that was written by John Miller, and learning, ownership, creativity, service, and trust are the 5 advantage principles needed to gain the edge in every area of life. Okay, so I'm just going to briefly tell you what is a QBQ and what can you do about it. So let's first start talking about what is the definition of a QBQ. It's a tool that enables individuals to practice personal accountability by making better choices in the moment. So what does that mean? Well, first off, okay, we are taught as project managers to be able to ask questions. But are you asking the right questions? Okay, so let me give you some ideas of what you can do to improve the kinds of questions that you're asking. First of all, we want to be able to not start questions with a why. Why? Why don't they communicate better? Right? We're blaming somebody else. Who dropped the ball? When is someone going to give me some more resources? Why can't we find better people? Right? Right. This is what we're doing here with these types of questions. In essence, what are we doing? We are blaming other people. So we want to be able to consider that it's not about them. Okay, we want to be able to say, what can we do to shift this so that I am the solution and I am not the problem. Okay, so the kind of questions we can ask are having to do with I. I is the common denominator. So what I'd like you to do right now is to put into the chat box the words I am, and then fill in the blank. I am, it could be courageous. I am powerful. I am, whatever the words that come top of mind. First thought, best thought, type in the chat box, I am. Because these are the 2 of the most powerful words for what you put after them. Because what you put after I am shapes your reality. What we write down and say makes an impact in our beliefs and how we present ourselves as leaders, and all of us are expected to be project leaders. Okay, so let's talk about what are the right questions. The right questions, these QBQs, begin with a how or a what. So, for example, we can say, how can I support the team? How can I help improve the processes? How can I help the team move forward? What more can I do? What more should I have done? These are very powerful, open-ended questions. And the most powerful open-ended questions actually have 7 words or less. So think about when you are asking questions, make sure they start with a how and a what. And the best leaders and project managers I know have like an index card filled with questions to ask, to be able to say, what else, what can I do to create some action? So the key part here is don't find fault, find a remedy. Make sure you clean the lenses you're using to see the world. Look for a solution, not the problem. There is a solution in every problem. So let's talk about initiating a project. What can we do to be able to improve this? Well, we know from project management, initiating a project is useful to be able to do. We might create a charter. We might be able to identify stakeholders. We might identify sponsors. But I'm going to flip it up a little bit. And I'm going to talk about using the 7 habits of highly effective people, because it's about leadership. Now, I'm not going to talk about all of these habits. You may have heard this before, maybe this is a little review, but I'm talking about combining this concept, the 7 habits, with project management in order to help us manage multiple projects and priorities. So the first one I'm going to do here is actually the second habit. Begin with the end in mind, right? That's really what we're doing with the charter. The charter is giving us an idea of when I am done with this project, what is it going to look like? What is it going to be like? What are the outcomes? What does success look like? Because honestly, everything can be a project. I mean, think about this. Think about, how do you prepare toast? How do you prepare toast? So think about this, and see if I could quickly be able to have you go into, let me see, where am I? Okay. Think about preparing toast. Okay. So you can put this in the chat box. What's some of the things you would do? Write a list of tasks on what you would do to create toast. Am I sharing slides? Yes. Sorry. So the screen right here, it says discuss, write down how to share, how to make toast. All right, let me see if I could get this running. Well, you got a lot of great tasks going on here. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to do a video here. So let me know if you can hear this video. If you can't, then we're going to go to plan B. Okay.
Some years ago, I stumbled across a simple design exercise.
Can you hear this video?
And like many of these design exercises, it kind of seems tricky.
Can you hear this video? Yes? All
The
right.
volume is very low.
It's very low. Okay, let me make this a little bit higher. Okay.
At first, but under deep inspection, it turns out that it reveals unexpected truths about the way that we collaborate and make sense.
Still can't hear it.
Exercise has 3 parts and it begins with something that we all know how to do, which is how to make toast. It begins with a clean sheet of paper, a felt marker, and without using any words, you begin to draw how to make toast. And most people draw something like this. They draw a loaf of bread, which is sliced and put into a toaster. The toaster is then deposited. Of course, with time, it pops up, and then voila, after 2 minutes, toast and happiness. Now, over the years, I've collected many hundreds of drawings of these toasts, and some of them are very good because they really illustrate the toast-making process quite clearly. And then there are some that are, well, not so good. They really suck, actually, because you don't know what they're trying to say. Under close inspection, some reveal some aspects of toast making while hiding others. So there's some that's all about the toast, right? And there's all about the transformation of toast. And there's others that are all about the toaster, okay? And the engineers love to draw the mechanics of this. And then there are others that are about people. You know, it's about visualizing the experience that people have. And then there are others that are about the supply chain of making toast that goes all the way back to the store. It goes through the supply chain networks of teleportation and all the way back to the field and wheat. And that one actually goes all the way back to the Big Bang. So it's crazy stuff. But I think it's obvious that even though these drawings are really wildly different,
Okay, so I don't know if you heard this, but if you didn't hear about it, you can go to Tom Wujek, and I will put this into the chat, and then you can be able to view this at your leisure, okay, if you didn't hear the video. All right, so how we do toast basically is where do you start? Okay, so some people start, you know, with using ingredients. Some people are thinking just about the toast. Some people are thinking about how many slices, how many, what are all the components of it. Okay, so this is really why we use project management, because we've got to understand the boundaries. Okay, and this is part of our initiating process group. So we create a project by starting with the charter, right? And this is really key. Now, a charter doesn't have to be complex. It could be very simple, just like this. If we created a charter for making toast, okay? We would say, why are we making the toast? What's in a scope? What's out of scope? What are we going to deliver? What's the schedule? What's the budget? And how do we know the toast is going to be successful? Bam, done. Now, why is this important? Because if you're managing multiple projects, you might need to do multiple charters. Even if your organization says, I don't need you to do all this work, it's just good for you. Okay, you as the PM, you as the person who's managing this work, personal or professional, is good to be able to write this down and think about this. This is your systems thinking, okay? So next, let's talk about planning. Most of what we do in project management is about planning. We're planning the schedule, planning the details, we're planning the benefits, planning the quality. What's the budget's going to be? What are the resources? Okay, lots of them. So we have what we call the iron triangle. We've got the scope, the time, and the cost, right? And what's important, hopefully you can see this. Am I sharing this? No, of course not. Okay, what's important is to be able to see the iron triangle here we're focused on time, okay? Time, again, is important because many organizations focus on, when are you going to get this done? When are you going to get this done? Now you've got 168 hours in your week, and you've got to be able to figure out, how am I going to be able to do all the personal, professional things all within this 168 hours? So what are we going to do about this? Okay, so we need to prioritize. We need to prioritize because we've got to figure out what is most important to do. Okay, put first things first. And Stephen Covey, okay, that's one of the habits here, is first things first. And there's a nice little video here. Okay, if you haven't seen this video called Big Rocks by Stephen Covey, again, this is an awesome classic type of concept here, is to put the big rocks in the bucket first, okay, rather than all the little green details. And guess what we typically do? I know I'm such a victim of this. I focus on the little details before the big stuff, right? I am a master at procrastination. So this is what's called Quadrant II thinking. What we really want to do is we want to be able to focus on this quadrant right here. Tony Robbins says at least 50% of your time, that's time that you allot for work, let's say, okay, and life, should be focused on Quadrant II activities. Why? Well, let's take a look at some examples here. If you're focused on the urgent and important, right? The water's flooding all over your bathroom. We got to get it fixed. Okay. Deadline driven project due today. Oh, yeah. All right. Friend in need. This is due immediately. Yeah. And this is what gets in our way. But really, what would be better to do, if we think about it ahead of time, part of our planning is when the water pipe is making strange noises, we might contact a plumber before it breaks. Okay. That's your risk management there. Okay, deadline-driven project due next week. Make sure you put this in your calendar. Map it out. How many hours do I need? When am I going to work on which component of this? Relationship building. Relationship building is having to do with a friend in need. Okay, so you can be able to help this person all along the way and not allow it to get to a crisis. So this is an important concept here because a lot of us spend time on the urgent yet not important things, okay? And we should delegate these tasks or recognize that they don't need to be done right away. And the not urgent and the not important tasks, because these are the time wasters, okay? So this is something where you're, jumping up onto social media or doing something. That's nothing wrong with posting anything on Facebook, but if it's 50% of your time, that probably is not something that you want to continue doing as much. Okay. All right. So Quadrant II thinking, okay? It's all about prevention. This is risk management on steroids. Must be able to prevent problems before they happen. Why is relationship building important? It's because we want to delegate some of those non-important activities that we tend to take on ourselves and do because we go, well, I'll just take care of it. I know how to do it. It's too hard to tell somebody else how to do it. All right. I had somebody in my class. She, when I was teaching this class, she goes, yeah, you're talking to me. I should really have my 10-year-old son walk the dog, but somehow I just seem to be walking the dog. And she says, I could have him walk the dog. He's perfectly capable of doing that and doing all the details having to do with that. And then probably that's what I should be doing, and I should be focusing on other things. Okay, so she recognized that in herself. So moving to Quadrant II takes time, okay, because that's your mindset. You've got to be able to consider organizing your work. Think about your role. And we have multiple roles. You have roles at work, you have multiple roles at home, okay? Whether you're a wife, a parent, a spouse, you're a project manager, you're a team leader, you're whoever, and think about the goals, not only personal, but professional, combination of both, okay? Plans, what are your plans? Because you've got one calendar with 168 hours in your week. How are you going to be able to schedule and delegate all the information on there? Now, long-term organization is how am I going to be able, the things that I'm doing right now that are urgent and important, is that going to help me meet my long-term goals? Most people say, you know, I'm working so that I can be able to retire wealthy and healthy someday. Okay. Are the things you're doing every week helping you to be able to take one step closer to retiring wealthy and healthy, or traveling around the world, or whatever it is that your dream is? Those are the important things to consider. So Quadrant 2 thinking, okay? Not urgent, but important. So when I send you that worksheet, you're gonna see some before and after columns there, okay? Talking about what can you do to shift more things into your calendar that are urgent, not urgent, but they're very important to do, okay? And notice the 4, Quadrant 4, dump them, postpone them. They're not important, okay? Put it off to something else. Not to say you can't update your Facebook profile or something else, okay? But it is not as important as the items in Quadrant 2. All right, time wasters. What are some time wasters? Type in your chat box. What are some time wasters? Candy Crush. What are some chatty Cathy's? Yeah. But you know, a chatty Cathy could also be part of the relationship building too. It just depends. You know, if it's a few minute conversation or it's a 20-minute conversation, it depends. Unnecessary written communications, great. Some meetings, yeah, for sure. So how could you eliminate time wasters to boost your productivity? I'm going to give you some ideas on what to do, okay? Because this is really part of lean principles. Have you heard of lean principles? Okay, so lean is a segment of quality management, and lean is about reducing waste. Okay, so there are 8 areas of waste having to do with lean. And the one area that I'm going to be talking about is waiting time. Waiting time. You send out an email and you're waiting for a response. You have a phone call and you're waiting for a response, right? Wasted time waiting for the next step in the process, right? So that's an important concept here. So let's talk about another wasteful activity is multitasking. One of the people in my previous class says they're expected, management is expecting every person on her team to multitask. That's what they're told to do. And I said, first of all, we can't multitask. Our brains don't function that way. We cannot do one thing, anything more than one thing at a time. We can do things very quickly and switch back and forth, but we can't do 2 things exactly at the same instant. So let's take an example. So follow along with me. This is an example of multitasking. So first off, we're going to do what's called row by row run. Row by row run. Let me make sure I explain this correctly. Oops, let me pull this back up here because I need to explain this correctly. Oops, I keep clicking on the wrong thing here. And I'm showing you this. This is actually on slideshare.net. And it's a simulation called number simulation. Okay, and you could be able to, I'll put this into the chat box as well so that you can be able to check this out on your own. Okay, so this is an interactive demonstration. And essentially what this is, the simulation has a goal of either writing letters A through J with a blue pen, Roman numbers 1 through 10 with a red pen, and writing numbers 1 through 10 with a black pen. So we're going to measure 2 times. Okay, so time to complete each project, time to complete all project. So we're going to run it 2 times. First, we're going to do it row by row, and then we're going to do it column by column. Okay, so I'm going to simulate. I'm going to click, so it's going to simulate like a split second. Okay, and we're going to see how these 2 projects go, and then we're going to compare the results. So everybody can see my screen okay? I'm sharing. Yes, I am. Okay. Ready? Okay, first we're going to do row by row run, doing all project at once. I'm speeding it up faster than a second each, but you get the idea. Okay, so what did you notice here? All right, so this is we've got our first column is time 124, second column done at 127, and third column done at 130, total time 130. All right, so now we're going to try the next one here, okay, and we're going to do a column by column run, doing one thing at a time. Okay, ready? Begin. What did you notice? Humongous difference. Okay, the first project was 1 minute 30 seconds. The second project was 34 seconds. Okay, big difference. And why? Because of the transitions between work. Okay, so what does that tell us? Don't multitask. Do not multitask. Okay, so there is a lot of information about how do you not multitask. And one of the things you can do is to be able to stay focused is called the Pomodoro technique. Pomodoro technique is where you're taking your 25 minutes, you set a clock, you set a timer, and you focus and do one thing for 25 minutes. And it's scheduled in your calendar to do so. And you stop. After 25 minutes, you take a break or you go off to do something else. Okay? Very, very challenging to do initially, okay, because I've used this Pomodoro technique. However, it is amazing how much I underestimated how long things take, because I've been so used to multitasking, I didn't even realize how much time things actually take to do and how much time I actually need in order to complete a task or an activity. So you can be able to get to YouTube. This is a great video about the Pomodoro technique, okay? And you could be able to check it out. So I'm giving you lots of different ideas to try out this week. All right, so and maybe some of these will work for you. Okay, so this brings us to estimating, and that's why I put this in estimating. I use the Pomodoro technique, and actually part of the Pomodoro technique is to figure out how many 25-minute segments do you need? How many Pomodoros do you need? I totally underestimated the amount of time things really take to do to completion, not just a piece of it. Because there are multiple different ways that we can estimate. We estimate based on experience, like I've done making this sandwich before. The last 3 times it took me 8 minutes to do this, and I think this time it's going to take me 8 minutes. Or I could use a combination of different experiences. This is still analogous estimating, okay? And if I use a 3-point estimate, I might come up with an average of 20 minutes to change a tire, okay? Or expert opinion, expert judgment, okay? Ask somebody else who's done this before. How long did it take for you to do this, okay? This is all part of planning, is to get better at estimating the actual time it takes us to complete the work we're trying to accomplish. So our 3-point estimates are like this: pessimistic plus optimistic plus most likely divided by 3. We want to use a combination of estimating techniques. So what are your techniques for shaving off some time, for saving time? Okay, so what are some ideas? So I'm going to pop you into a, let's see, screen share. I'm going to put you into a breakout room to talk about what are some of your ideas of what you can do to save time, shaving off time, major activities. So I'll give you about 5 minutes or so to talk about this. So make sure you click on the join meeting room. Rudy and Kathy and Tom and Robert and Angela. So click on the where it says join meeting room.
I don't seem to have that.
Oh, let me here. I will help you here. Go ahead.
I don't have it either.
Okay, I will take care of that.
There we go.
So Angela, you could click on join the meeting. And Norman, you could click on join the meeting to get into your breakout room number 5. And same for Robert Culbertson. Oh, it looks like, Robert, you're in there twice. Okay.
If you'd like to stay strong and independent as you age, then listen to the story of my. The Pomodoro technique is one of my favorite techniques to fight procrastination and maintain focus and productivity.
Fix it. Hello, Dale.
Hi, how are you?
Good. We've already fixed everything.
You fixed
Okay.
everything.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
We're good.
How'd you do that?
We were clever. We came up with several ideas.
All right, good. Good, good. What ideas did you guys come up with for identifying techniques for shaving time off? Anybody want to share?
You want chat or verbal?
Either.
We talked mainly about estimating difficulties and glitches that you run into with waiting on people, misestimating time, things of that nature. So we really didn't get to shaving time off, to be honest.
Okay. All right.
Using templates and go-bys, so you're not starting from scratch.
Ah, great, great. Okay. Okay. Reducing meeting time, Bob says here. Time box events. Time box is great. You can use agile concepts in a project, a traditional project management, waterfall. Okay, so you could time box activities and not go all agile.
Turn off email notification.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's one of the biggest multitasker kinds of things is the emails pop up and then you feel like you have to respond to it. Just put in your schedule in your calendar when you're going to read emails and respond to them. Now, this is a matter of training people that you're not going to respond immediately to every single text message, email that they send. Some people have office hours. Okay, I think Floyd, you have office hours, right? Because I know that you work for the UTK, but it's great to have hours. I think this is, if you want me to focus on things, here's where I'm focusing, okay? And when I can be most effective for you. So heading off project glitches, okay? How do you manage changes in projects? One of the things that when I work with organizations who have troubled projects that are just not going the way they planned, is because they did not have a good change management process. Change comes in, they go, oh, the customer wants this, senior manager wants this, sponsor wants this, I gotta go take care of it. That is absolutely not true. That is absolutely not true, because the first thing you always do with the change is to assess the change and the impact to all the other things that you're doing. So an awesome question you can ask is, say, you want this requested change, what are you willing to give up? And they say, what? I have to give up something? Well, yeah. I mean, hello, there's only 168 hours in my week, okay? What am I gonna give up in order to take care of your request, all right? And so this is really a manner of, during executing and monitoring and controlling, is to control the change request. Doesn't say you need to say no. It's saying yes, and what are the things, what needs to shift as far as the priorities are concerned, okay? Because we need to plan and control. Plan and control goes back together in order to identify any variances in plans and saying, what am I going to do to get back on track? So this brings us to habit number 5 in the 7 habits of the highly effective people. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Why? Because during the midst of executing and monitoring controlling projects, when projects are going various different ways, priorities, multiple projects, you need to have good communication. 90% of what a project manager does is communication. So what gets in the way of empathetic, high quality communication? Stereotypes. I mean, if you just have to look at the news these days, right? All right. Blaming the other party. Hello, we are in the midst of this, right? Okay. Excluding others' feelings and needs. Okay, making sure that people are taken care of. Unclear objectives. Where are we looking at unclear objectives? It's because we didn't have a charter for every single one of our projects. Every single project, no matter what, needs to have a charter. Okay. And when people do the work that they should be doing, say thank you. I mean, a handwritten note these days is so rare. It's wonderful when you get something like this. Last habit we're going to be talking about is habit number 7. You might have heard this before, sharpen the saw. What does that really mean? It's taking care of yourself, okay? Especially during the times of stress that we have right now, making sure you're physically taking care of yourself, you're exercising, good nutrition, stress management. You're having, even though we're in our virtual environment, we still need our social activities, okay? We still need that kind of empathy. If you have any kind of spiritual or value clarification, this is important as well, because this leads right back to your priorities in your quadrant 2. What are your priorities? And also mental reading, visualization, planning, okay? I do a lot of meditation in the morning and the evening, and let me tell you, it helps me to center and stay focused on what is the most important thing I need to accomplish today, okay? And if that's all I get done, that's important. It's not urgent, it's important. And that's what we want to stay focused on, is quadrant 2. The more that you can shift into quadrant 2, the less stressful those multiple projects, the multiple priorities are going to be, because you're going to have them under control. It's not firefighting. It's not to do immediately. You can delegate tasks because you've built the relationships, okay? And you're minimizing those time wasters, okay? That you can be able to focus again on quadrant 2. Now, the last piece here that I'm going to talk about here is having to do with delegating. A lot of project managers feel like they can't delegate. It is actually one of the most important concepts to consider, is to delegate. Okay, so make sure you declare why you're delegating this, what you want them to do, and what the expectations are. They may not do it exactly the way you do it, but make sure you provide an accountability process in there so that they say, when you are done, please come to me and let me know. So this is our closing of our project for today, okay, is we're delivering good results, okay? So hopefully you've learned a few tips and tricks on how to be able to manage multiple projects and priorities. I am also going to put into the chat box, I should be able to do this. I should be able to share with you the time. Let's see. I believe I can. Put into the chat box. Okay. All right, so I will make sure that I get you the time audit worksheet, because I thought I could just click on this here and I'm not getting it right, and I don't want to waste your time. All right. So this is your reflection and action planning. So based on what you've learned over this last hour, what are you going to do different tomorrow? Are you going to continue doing the same things that you've been doing? Okay, or are you going to be doing something different based on some of the ideas that I've talked about today? Thank you very much for your time. Have you any questions? Oh, PDUs, yes, thank you. Thank you for reminding me to do that. All right, it is challenging for me to do everything this evening. There you go, there's the magic number. Okay, so you get one in technical, because we did cover project management components, and half of a PDU for leadership, because we did talk about Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. All right, awesome. If you want the audit sheet, make sure you put your email into the chat box so that I can make sure I can send it to you if you want the time audit worksheet. I thought I could be able to attach this, but I don't see how I can do that right now. All right, have a great rest of your evening and a great rest of your week.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks and goodbye.
Thank you. Have a great night.